Mama told me when I was young, come sit beside me, yeah, my only son. Well, listen closely, yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome to episode 3 of the Southern Tale Season 3 Lynyrd Skynyrd Shorts, where we have discussions about different little tidbits of Lynyrd Skynyrd trivia and things that maybe you haven't heard before. And maybe we would ask some questions and come up with some questions that we all need to learn answers to. Maybe somebody out there can answer those questions. So far, we've talked about Barry Harwood, just a little bit, because there's so much more to talk about with him. We talked about Ronnie and how he writes songs and what he is as a simple man. And tonight, and we did touch on Steve Gaines, because Steve Gaines actually took Barry Harwood's spot in Lynyrd Skynyrd. Did you know that? Wow.
Ronnie was very impressed with Steve Gaines and took him on pretty much immediately. So that has to say a lot about Steve Gaines.
Yeah, it's a story that they were in Kansas City on the Give Me Back My Bullets tour, and Cassie convinced Ronnie to let her little brother come up on stage.
And she may have been hounding the band for quite a while,
Yeah.
to let him see prove what he's doing.
She knew how good he was, and obviously she knew what Lynyrd Skynyrd was, and she thought it might be a fit, but he got on stage, and again, the story goes, Ronnie said, don't plug this guy in.
He was there with no cables.
Yeah. For some reason, he wasn't plugged in, but at some point, Ronnie gave the thumbs up to the sound guy, and Steve got turned on. So, I also think the story goes that when they left Kansas City, Steve was on the bus.
Ronnie, I think, loved his time and made it count. When he made decisions, they counted.
Yeah. So Steve joins the band, and the clip we're going to play for you tonight is from a sound check in February of 1977. And this sound check was in Sheffield, England.
True.
Over there again. And although the sound isn't great, I'm pretty sure the tape recorder was in somebody's briefcase. But any sound from Lynyrd Skynyrd, the real Lynyrd Skynyrd, is great to me. And what's interesting about this clip is this part of the sound check, they're going to do That Smell.
Which, if you think about it, was a song coming out on Street Survivors, which they had already written this early in the year.
Yeah, it's 8 months before the album's released, or 7 months, and we know they played it in Japan. We hear they're playing it in England, and so the band is getting tight on this stuff already. The interesting thing about this is that I guess Ronnie's not at the sound check, but everybody else is, including the Honkettes. And so guess who's singing lead vocals on That Smell?
Mr. Steve Gaines.
Listen and enjoy. Okay, we're back, and we listened and marveled just like you did. Steve Gaines on vocals, which I love.
You just can't get enough of it. I wish there was more of it.
Yeah, and there was, in the Legend thing, there was the One in the Sun, which is Steve Gaines' original that it's to this day is one of my favorites.
He had a really good job, really good eye in the sky of singing his stuff, and it was just great talent.
Yeah, it's I always get sad when I think about what happened, but the whole idea of this series is to talk about the joy and the wonderment that we got from Lynyrd Skynyrd.
We can question Steve's greatness all day long. It's always going to be true.
And we're going to talk more about Steve coming up. So please hit the subscribe button so you can get noticed when the next episode comes up, and we'll see you then.